Welcome to Whether or Not and to What Degree podcast. I'm First Alert Chief Meteorologist Kendra Kent, and I'm alongside First Alert Meteorologist Adam McWilliams.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to be here.
I'm so happy you're here. He is the newest member of the First Alert weather team. So first off, welcome to the upstate.
Thank you.
And mountains and Northeast Georgia, all the areas we cover.
All the places, and I told you this. I've never been to the upstate before. I mean, I've been to the Smoky Mountains.
Right.
Like we've taken trips up there, but to be up in the upstate, I mean, it is truly one of the most beautiful places I've ever lived. I mean, you can see the mountains, and then you've got the Midlands, and you've got like everything in one state.
Oh, it's
here.
amazing.
So it's beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about where you come from,
Right.
where you grew up. But I do want to mention, just telling this little story. So I remember seeing your application, and I remember giving you a phone call.
Yeah.
And first of all, seeing that you were in Jackson, Mississippi. So I'm
Yeah.
like, this guy's gonna know weather. You
Yeah.
can't work in Jackson without knowing
That's
weather.
right, exactly.
But I remember you and I connected so quickly over
Right.
the phone. You're so warm,
Yeah.
but then also so knowledgeable. And I could tell that passion ran deep.
Oh,
so
yes.
first off, tell us about where your love for weather started.
So my love for weather started at the tender young age of 5 years old.
Wow.
And I was telling you that I went through a tornado when I was 5 years old. I was at church. It was a Sunday night. And I remember in our church back home, we had these really beautiful stained glass windows in the sanctuary. And I remember the lightning was just constant through the stained glass windows. And I remember the pastor stopped the sermon. I think somebody had told him like there was a tornado coming. So we all left the sanctuary and went to the basement of the church, which is where the Sunday school rooms were. And I remember the roar of the wind of the tornado approaching. I remember that. I've not heard that roar. Well, the other time that I heard that roar was when Hurricane Katrina came through in Jackson. I was in Jackson when Hurricane Katrina came through.
Yeah.
And I remember the lights went out, and I remember distinctly somebody cracking the door to throw something out, and the wind sucked both of the doors open.
Oh, my goodness.
And it took like 4 men to close the door. The church did have damage. There was the roof damage or whatever, but that moment, like, everybody was freaking out, but I was just in awe of what was going on. It was just kind of like, what is this? What is going on? And after that, I mean, every book I could get on tornadoes that I could read at the time, and that's right around the time the movie Twister came out.
Yeah, all of us most of us in weather who are around this age.
Yes.
At least enjoyed that movie. Maybe it wasn't inspiration, but it was just a big part of us growing up.
Absolutely,
for sure.
And I remember watching. I think I made my parents take me to the movie theater like 3 times to see it, and I recorded it on TV, and I ran that tape out.
That's right.
But that's where the weather bug bit me, and I was that nerdy kid that I was drawing maps. Like I remember one time my dad told a story. I was like 6 years old, and I got really quiet. And usually kids that get quiet at that age are usually up to no good,
Yep.
Well, he goes into my room, and I'm there drawing maps. Like I'm drawing like weather maps and stuff like that.
Man.
I was that kid.
Yeah.
I was that kid. So here we are.
Here we are. Well, and I imagine, being at church, with a bunch of other kids that were scared. You think about, and I'm sure as a kid you didn't think about this, but to have that opportunity to help those people, because I'm the same. I've been kind of scared of weather in my time, but over time you kind of get empowered by your knowledge and everything else that you know. And it's one of my greatest joys in this profession is being able to help people not be scared,
Exactly.
be prepared, and to be with them through the storm. And I can imagine that when you got to your finally becoming a broadcast meteorologist, that must have felt really rewarding.
Well, it did, because and I'll tell you a really pivotal point in my life, Kendra. I was at Mississippi State.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. That's right. Me and Kendra both went to Mississippi State. So I was there during the 2011 Dixie Alley super outbreak.
Right.
So I was there on April 27th, where 2 EF5 tornadoes came within 50 miles of MSU's campus in Starkville. 2 EF5s on the ground. That has never happened in Mississippi State history, and I don't think that's going to happen again for a very long time.
Well, when I was at Mississippi State, just on a side note, we talked about how Starkville had this bubble around it.
Right.
Where we really didn't get tornadoes.
The force field, we called it.
The force field, because we had so many meteorology students
Yes.
at State that it was like the weather avoided us for some reason.
It just went
so,
around
yeah,
us.
no, this was an exception, though. And April 11th, if many viewers remember here, we did not get any tornadoes in our immediate area, but Rabun County saw what was left of that Tuscaloosa tornado.
Oh,
it dropped down near Lake Burton. So that was our experience with it. But anyway, so you were at Starkville, 2 EF5s nearby, which is just a completely unheard of.
You know, and of course, the whole meteorology department, I don't think we had class that day. I think all the professors were like, okay, y'all aren't going to pay attention to anything anyway. This is more applicable to your profession. Go out and, you know, they weren't telling us to go chase, but, you know, look at radar, analyze, you know, be around each other. This is going to be more important to you than what lesson we're going to have that day.
I imagine the state of Alabama had no
Yeah.
school either. I mean, that was one event that I will say, it didn't sneak up. I mean, no one expected it to do exactly what it did necessarily, but luckily we had that lead time. We had a couple of days, at least 2 or 3 days ahead. But wow, I can't. I remember watching from afar, and again, that event hopefully will be the worst in living memory for many of us in the Southeast, because I can't imagine anything like that happening again. But yeah, so again, the fact that you rode that out, these kind of experiences, I'm sure got you to a point where after school, you're looking for jobs. You end up in the middle of what I think is now Tornado Alley. I guess Dixie Alley is what it's always been called.
Exactly.
Fully. Tell us about your career in broadcast meteorology, how it started and where you ended up.
So that day really solidified for me the want to keep people safe from bad weather and educate them about it, and you know, seeing how many people were affected that day. So, you know, my first job actually was in another Greenville, Mississippi, which for those of you that don't know is right on the Mississippi River in the heart of the Mississippi Delta. And if you're going to chase in the South, that's probably the best place to do it. It is very much like Oklahoma. It is very flat. You can see for miles around. You know, when chasers come to the South, they call it the jungle, because literally it is. You're doing this with the road network up and down.
And all
there
the
are trees everywhere. There are hills and everything like that. So, so I was there. Actually, I started there before I graduated Mississippi State, and there's a funny story about that. So it is our last semester, and people are applying for jobs, and our broadcast teacher, Rennie Vanderwig, who you went to school with.
Classmate of mine.
He was, you know, we were putting out tapes, and he was asking us, "You getting any bites? You getting any feed?" And I wasn't getting anything. I'd sent reels everywhere, and it was spring break, and I was at home because I didn't have any money and I wasn't going to go do anything. So I get this email from the news director at WXVT in Greenville, Mississippi. His name was Earl Phelps. And the email, the subject line of the email was "Desperate in Greenville." Desperate in Greenville.
That's hilarious.
So
what a way to start an email.
You know, this could either go one of two ways. You know, this could, you know, anyway. But I opened it up, and he had typed this whole long email, like the chief had had a heart attack and was out of commission, and the morning guy was filling in, and basically the morning guy had been on his own for like a month doing both the evening and the morning shows. I don't know how
humanly
David
possible.
did it.
How? That's amazing.
Anyway, so he asked if I could come up for a few days and help out, and I said sure, you know. And so I went up there and did a couple shows, and that Wednesday I got an offer letter from WXVT offering me the weekend job. So I was actually doing weather when I was still at State, so I would leave Starkville and drive 140 miles to Greenville one way, do the weather, and then I would come back, and I would and funny enough,
some long weeks.
Well, and funny enough, that semester at 8 a.m. was Thermodynamics 2 with Dr. Jamie Dyer at 8 a.m. on a Monday. So that was an interesting month and a half for me. But I was there. After I graduated Mississippi State, I went there and was there for just a short time, and then I got an offer to come back to Jackson, Mississippi, to my hometown.
A rare thing when you get to return to your hometown
exactly.
and be a meteorologist.
And I actually interned there in high school, believe it or not. So I interned there, so I would stay in touch with them. And so they asked if I would want to come back, and so I did. And I was there at the ABC affiliate, WAPT, for 11 years. And then got out of TV for a little bit and started missing it. And then this wonderful opportunity came, and you called me, and here we are.
Yeah,
Here we are.
And we're thrilled to have you. Watching from afar, there have been so many outbreaks and so much crazy weather there in Jackson. I mean, not only do you get the tornadoes, but you have pretty significant tropical weather.
Yes,
If
absolutely.
anything hits the Gulf, chances are you're going to get slammed with a bunch of rain, possibly tropical tornadoes.
Yes.
Something that we are very familiar with here in the Carolinas.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, and so joining the team, we laugh because he gets here within his first, what did we say, 10 days. We have 2 rounds of snow. 3 years we go without snow. His predecessor, Brian Bachman, came from Michigan, and I'm thinking, okay, he's going to help me cover snow. This is going to be great. His whole 3 years, not a flake.
Not a flake
And then
of
I
snow.
get someone from Jackson where you don't get that much snow, and then we get tons. So that's just how life works. But it was a very jam-packed. I think our viewers saw a lot of you during that time. So
they did.
that's one reason we wanted to do this podcast. Is just to introduce you a little bit and because show your non-weather side too.
Right.
Because I know that you mentioned your hometown is Jackson.
Yes.
You're an only child, right?
I am, yes.
I'm same here, so we've been able to relate on that. Very close bond with our parents. My
Right.
parents ended up moving here to Seneca because
Wow.
I mean they wanted to be with me, but it was really more about the grandkids, I think. But it's fine. I'm just thrilled they're close by. But I heard your parents do like the area. Tell us a little bit about your family.
So my dad has worked for the state of Mississippi for this will be 22 years now. So he's coming up on retirement age. And my mother, never really had a career. She was more kind of a stay-at-home mom, and then when we needed some extra money, she would go get a job. But they love the area, and I have been heavily recruiting them to maybe join me.
Yeah.
When my dad retires, because it's going to be about 3 years away. They love the area, and so hopefully, they will follow suit like your parents and Christy's parents. And maybe
working on Catherine's. We'll see if we can get everybody's folks
and
here.
move up to the upstate. Because this is really such a beautiful area, and just seeing everything growing and going downtown and seeing all the buildings going up and everything like that. And believe it or not, this is an active weather market too.
It really is.
Coming from Jackson, I mean, we don't get as insane of tornado outbreaks as Central Mississippi, but this area has a lot of diverse weather. I mean, you have from the mountains down here to the upstate, and so this is still a challenging area to forecast in, and you got to be on your toes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really do.
No, it really is just a different kind of weather market.
Yes.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily a calmer one than Jackson, but you just get a much more heightened severe weather season there, especially in the months late February through early May, I'd say there.
Right.
Now, for us, we get that a little bit, but then our busy time is really during June and July. We're the severe thunderstorm warning capital of the United States.
I didn't know that till you told me.
We get more microbursts, wind damage, things like that in the summertime, mainly because of the storms that get going on the mountains and then just jump into the upstate and wreak havoc.
Right.
So that's a lot of times what keeps us the most busy. And those, it's hard because tornado warnings often are the things that get people's attention the most, and we can get so many severe warnings in the summer, but they can be very dangerous. I mean, we can be looking at microbursts producing 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Exactly, and I remember, some of the memories I have working at WAPT is it was a day in March. It was, I think, around Easter, and I'd been in. It was a weekend show. And these hail-producing thunderstorms, big hail-producing thunderstorms, were coming into Jackson. I jumped on air because there was a damaging hailstorm moving in, wanted to give people enough time to get their cars in the garage and all that kind of stuff. And I remember being on air and hearing hail hit the roof, and it got so loud, Kendra, I had to yell. Like, even though I had a microphone on, it was so loud in the studio, I was yelling to try to be heard, while golf ball and ping pong ball size hail is pounding the station. And actually, material from the roof was falling on the ground in front of me while I'm covering this. And my luck, I had just gotten a new truck.
Yeah.
And I hadn't even made the first payment on it.
Oh.
And it was out there. And so I remember just going outside, and there were like dings all in it. And I was just like, so that hail is very traumatic for me because of that.
Well, and I don't even know if I told you this story. I'll tell it real quick on this. I know we're getting low on time, but when I was in Fort Smith, Arkansas, working with Garrett Lewis, we had a tornado warning. We all had to get into the hallway. He kept his mic on, I had my mic on, and we were just going back and forth talking in that same thing. It was so loud. Yeah. It was baseball-sized hail. Baseball, between baseball, golf ball. And never experienced that here, but we've gotten up to like egg-sized here. Anyway, after that, I go outside. Now, this wasn't a brand new car, but it was like 5 years old. It was my baby, my Grand Cherokee from college. It was dinged up. The front windshield had been completely busted out.
Oh, no.
Geico totaled it. But they gave me the option of keeping it. Because when they total a car, you get an amount that's really not going to be able to buy you a new car. And I was so poor. I was like, so I just had the windshield fixed, and I drove that dinged up a Jeep Grand Cherokee for like 2 or 3 years. When I came to this job, I would walk to my car and they'd be like, "What happened?" I'd be like, good story. So as a meteorologist, it was a cool story.
Exactly.
But not the prettiest car. Okay, so as we're wrapping up on time, a few little lightning round questions. Okay. So just no pressure here, just for our viewers. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Oh.
And I have a bunch, so just whatever your first one you think of, because there's so many.
Number one is Twister.
Really? Okay, I wasn't
number
sure.
One is Twister.
Have you seen the second one yet?
I have.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that.
Yes.
We'll discuss it later. And our Caitlin, our director, also agrees. So
I have
good.
mixed views on that, but we'll do that for another time.
I did too. I didn't love it. It was okay.
It wasn't it was great entertainment.
Yeah.
The science, though, was lacking to me. Anyway.
The leading man, too. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not Bill Paxton, but
No, I love him too.
And my second I would say probably is The Patriot, which was a movie based on a person who lived here in South Carolina, Francis Marion, the Swamp Fox.
Well, and you're a history buff
exactly.
as well.
And actually, my sixth great-grandfather, I actually have pretty deep roots here in South Carolina. My sixth great-grandfather, Captain Andrew Sellers, fought alongside Francis Marion, and there's a monument to him in Columbia. Yeah.
That's
so,
wild.
and I want to get down there and see it, because that is my sixth-time great-grandfather.
Okay.
And so, but yeah, that is my connection to South Carolina. We left here in 1815, and we haven't been back since. But I'm making it full circle,
You
because
sure
I'm
are.
back here now.
Maybe laying some roots. Let's hope. Okay.
Right.
Favorite kind of weather?
Favorite kind of weather? Ooh, this is going to sound maybe a little bit twisted for some of the audience members that don't enjoy weather, but I kind of do like an enhanced moderate risk day. I don't, it's exciting.
You answered like a true meteorologist.
It's exciting.
That just means, if you aren't familiar, the Storm Prediction Center issues these, low, medium, kind of high days risks for severe weather, and he likes it when there's not it's not all the way up to the highest.
It's not
but
insane
kind of a medium.
crazy, but like a level 3 or 4 out of 5.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay,
So,
I like that. Favorite color?
Favorite color, blue.
Okay.
Blue is my favorite color.
I like that. And I had one more. Best favorite memory covering weather.
Favorite memory
as a
covering
professional
weather.
meteorologist.
Let's see. Probably a memory that really sticks out to me. It was an ice storm, actually.
Okay.
And it was 2017. In Jackson, we have something called the Mississippi Blues Marathon, which is actually a qualifier for the New York City Marathon. And it had been canceled. We had a heavy burst of sleet the night before. The roads were frozen over. I remember getting in. It took me like an hour and a half. At that time, I had a Mustang, so it was a real drive, and that was an interesting trip into work. But I remember interviewing my chief on air, and him talking about this was the worst ice storm he had ever experienced in 35 years. I don't know why that sticks in my head, but that was probably the craziest
Yeah.
weather memory I have. And then also during that storm too, I remember being outside and hearing thunder sleet.
Oh.
I saw the flash of lightning and it was sleeting. And I heard the crackle of thunder, and I had a Jim Cantori moment where I was like, "This is thunder sleet!" You know, I'm in Jackson, Mississippi, and I hear thunder sleet.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that's probably my most.
And if you'd asked me my favorite weather, thunder snow is my favorite.
Thunder
I've
snow,
heard it.
yes.
Actually, I've heard it twice here, but March of 2009 when I heard it here.
You know, and you just see that flash of lightning, and it's 32 degrees outside.
It's so
you know,
crazy.
it's
And
so
you
crazy.
know when that happens, that snow is going to be
Yeah,
hard.
it's going to be a hard snow, and it
Hard
was.
snow. Well, as per usual, we go over time. When we talk, it just goes.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited. Thank you for watching and getting to know Adam with us. And give him a follow on Facebook. Look him up at Meteorologist Adam McWilliams,
Yes.
On X, on Facebook, Instagram, all the places.
I'm on all the places, that's right.
Because when we're not, on weekends, he's going to be the primary person delivering the weather information for you, unless we've got something big and we're all in.
Right.
So thanks for joining us for Whether or Not and To What Degree podcast. And you can email us too about ideas for future podcasts if there's any subjects you want us to cover, because we're looking forward to doing a bunch more as we get into the spring. But Adam, welcome. So happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking to you, getting a little
It's
chatty.
why sometimes we don't get a lot done if we get chatting, but it happens. All right, bye. See you guys
Bye.
later.